a major case we are about to file in Virginia in federal court. And this case involves illegal immigrants or people in the United States who are not citizens, 6,000 plus in Virginia, who self-identified as non-citizens. They may be legally here, but they say, I am not a citizen. So they are not qualified to vote. And the Virginia governor's move to require those people to make sure they're not on the voter rolls has been challenged by Merrick Garland and Harris Biden Department of Justice 19 days before the election. Why do they want 6,000 people on the ballot to be able to vote, to be on the ballot list as a real voter, 6,000 plus voters who have told the Commonwealth of Virginia under a law passed by a Democrat governor in Virginia in 2006 that they are not citizens and thus they cannot vote in the election? Why is the DOJ coming in and trying to save their names to make sure that they can go and illegally vote, even though they know they shouldn't? And Will, that is exactly what we've seen happen. And we're about to file. It may be today, later today. It may be tomorrow, but I wanted people to know about that.
That's right. We at the ACLJ are taking action. Our attorneys right now are preparing these briefs that could be filed as soon as today, but within the next day or so at the very latest, because it is such a critical time with just 19 days left to the election. But I have Professor Harry Hutchison in here with me. So, Professor Hutchison, this headline, the DOJ sues Virginia for allegedly purging non-citizens from voting rolls too close to the election, sounds like it could be from a parody website. That doesn't sound like what you would expect out of the Department of Justice trying to enforce law of the United States and protect the integrity of both our elections and our national sovereignty. But that's exactly what's going on here in Virginia with the DOJ suing the state of Virginia.
Absolutely. So what we have, is a clear and unmistakable evidence that the DOJ is engaging, in my opinion, in election interference. In other words, they're trying to deprive the state of Virginia of the right to purge non-citizens. If you read the first line of the DOJ's brief, they argue that only U.S. citizens are eligible to vote in U.S. federal elections. That fact is not in dispute, and there is no evidence of widespread non-citizen voting in the United States, but that is not what this case is about. That, in my opinion, is a fabrication. It's precisely about the DOJ's effort to assist non-citizens to vote in Virginia elections. Up to 6,300 non-citizens have self-identified themselves as non-citizens, and yet, what is the DOJ doing? They're filing a lawsuit. They're trying to enjoin or prevent the state of Virginia from enforcing a law signed by a Democratic governor, Tim Kaine, in 2006. So this is ridiculous. It's also a move by the DOJ which arguably violates the United States Constitution. If you look at Article 1, Section 4, Clause 1, the state legislature sets the time, manner, and method of voting with respect to members of the House, members of the House of Representatives, and the Senate. Also, if you look at Article 2, Section 1 of the Constitution, it talks about voting for the president. Who sets the rules? The state legislature. So the state legislature of Virginia has acted. Governor Youngkin is following the law, and yet the DOJ is intervening.
And Jordan, what we're seeing here is a time for ACLJ to take action as well. Right. I think it's also important that governor that signed it into law, remember, you may have forgotten, that was Hillary Clinton's running mate. So this is someone who was on a national ticket and probably thought this was a good law to maybe have when he was the governor of Virginia. but the DOJ is taking action here in what reeks of election interference.
Listen, we are going to be involved in this. It sounds outrageous. As Harry said, you've got the U.S. Constitution says the states have the power. You got a Democrat law put into place by Tim Kaine, of all people, in 2006. But the DOJ, so that's Biden-Harris, and of course the DNC, I mean, put it all together, it's 19 days out, is filing a lawsuit trying to prevent Virginia from taking 6,000 people off the ballot who told Virginia voluntarily that they aren't citizens. They might be lawful residents, but they aren't citizens, and so they are not eligible to vote. It's like, Will, do they not think that we see right through it? And this is what makes people nervous about election integrity, about the fact that their vote won't be counted the same way it should, because 6,000 people who shouldn't be voting, the DOJ is fighting somehow for them to remain on the voter rolls. It's so transparent what the left is doing, but I think, like the Harris interview, Will, it is a time of desperation, and that's when we've got to put our pedal, put your pedal to the metal. We've got to go hard these last 19 days, leave no stone unturned, speak to everyone you can, get out the vote, because they are starting to make moves and steps that show they are very nervous about what could happen on Election Day.
And Jordan, I mean, it's almost as if the DOJ created a loophole for illegal voting by saying, hey, if it's within 90 days and someone joins the voter rolls, you can't even look at it. That's the way it plays in my mind as a non-attorney, but it's like creating a loophole for election fraud.
No, absolutely. And it's why you got to support the work of the ACLJ at ACLJ.org, because we jump on these cases immediately. So go to ACLJ.org. You can donate today. We're focusing so much of our efforts in these final 19 days to make sure you're confident in your vote, but also that we've got election integrity nationwide. We're joining in this battle in Virginia. We'll be joining others as well. Donate today at ACLJ.org.